Dresses on. Quarantine Hearts is the back with you. This is American Stars and Bars from 1977.
Yes.
This is like all about America. There's like all sorts of like here's Stripes of America, the God or whatever that is, the statue.
What do you think about this cover? I love this cover. It cracks me up. Neil Young is getting his face smushed. Yeah.
Like
This is a bottle of Canadian whiskey, and
that's.
it's awesome. This apparently was done by his friend and actor Dean Stockwell.
I can't do a very good face
Quantum
for
Leap.
that.
Quantum Leap.
Pretty good
I
stylist.
can't do a very good face.
Oh, that's good.
You know, this is an album, real quick, that I kind of overlooked through all my years listening to Neil Young. I got this recently because I knew Like a Hurricane, and I thought maybe the rest of it was nothing. But, well, it's actually a strong album, right?
Yeah, it does not say the tracks on here.
We have this inner sleeve, which is a weird, it's sort of like a colored out center label.
And then the record.
Is that him on the back?
That's Neil Young here.
We got the Old Country Waltz, Saddle Up the Palomino, yeah.
Well, and
Hold Back the Tears is a good song, Bite the Bullet.
hold on, we're going to get into each track.
Hey babe.
Someone put the hype sticker, which was on the original sleeve. They stuck it on here. Here's another picture.
Here's one
Neil
interesting
Young
thing
here.
about Star of Bethlehem and about Will to Love.
Right,
Will to
so,
Love.
hold on.
Star of Bethlehem was probably recorded as the same version as on Homegrown.
Yeah, so this is an album that he took two different songs from the Homegrown album that at that point was buried. Star of Bethlehem, right?
Yes.
Which is the same exact, basically, we believe it's the same version and everything.
And then we got Will to Love, which is one interesting story.
Well, hold on, let's talk about, and then there's the song Homegrown, which was the
last
title
one.
track for his album that he re-recorded, and that is a completely different version.
Yes. Very slick, slow.
So the
And
first...
it's like, homegrown, it's alright.
This album is sort of his first, I think, foray into like a country rock thing. The first side is all country rock, basically.
No, Bite the Bullet is a rocker.
But it was all.
Country rock.
Wasn't that all? That's all the stuff that was recorded together.
Yeah, but that...
Yes.
Okay, side 2, Star of Bethlehem, not a rocker. Will to Love, not a rocker. Like a Hurricane, rocker. Homegrown, kind of a rocker.
Right, but what I'm saying to you, right, is the first side was a very unique session that he did with Linda Ronstadt, Nicolette Larson, two vocalists that he would work with on other places.
And side 2 was Crazy Horse.
Right, Crazy Horse is on some of it, but
Except Will to Love.
the first side is all sort of together. The second side is a bit of a hodgepodge of things he'd done in other places.
Like a collage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like side 2 was right next to a campfire.
So you'd think that this album would be not very good, but it actually comes off quite well. I like all the country rock songs. What do we have? Saddle Up the Palomino, I quite like. My favorite on there was probably the Old Country Waltz
Yes.
on the first side. Even Bite the Bullet, which is a little, I don't know, maybe a little corny, but it was good.
A little corny.
Great song, actually, now that I talk about it. Frank San Pedro, of who started in Crazy Horse on Zuma's on this. And then we have second side. We start with Star of Bethlehem, right?
Will to Love has one interesting story.
Will to Love, the second song on the second side. Let's talk about that. So what's the story with Will to Love?
Well, he recorded it next to the campfire.
I think.
It did say he recorded it in a campfire.
Yeah,
next to a
you
campfire.
can hear
Just him and
hear the
that
fire
acoustic
popping.
guitar.
He completely produced it by himself.
Yes.
He recorded all the other sounds and everything.
Yeah, like there's xylophone in that song.
Yep.
But it's basically just him and the acoustic guitar.
Right, but it's awesome. I think it comes off really interesting. It's sort of a quiet and like a lullaby, but also a little strange.
That's
It has
my
some
favorite
emotion.
one on there.
Cameron says her favorite Will to
Oh
Love.
shit! Oh, we got Carolyn back.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
back.
here. And then Like a Hurricane, which was a big hit, a pretty big hit. It was like number 20, I think it was.
Yeah, I got one more thing to say about Will to Love.
What's that?
It's like ocean. It's got all sorts of fish swimming in the stream, salmon.
He's talking from the perspective of
Yes.
the salmon.
It's a
It's supposed to be
weird.
That's
about
weird.
a salmon swimming upstream to spawn.
Do we know?
Weird
And
song.
when was that recorded and where?
May of '76.
Huh.
Yeah. So that when '76 was a pretty fruitful year for him, obviously. Like a Hurricane was recorded in November of 1975 when apparently he had vocal throat surgery on his vocal cords. I had no idea about. And it's mostly his solos, really. Neil Young's solos, which are awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
They're not technically good, from a technical guitar sense. They're sort of unhinged. Like you can hear mistakes, and you can hear sort of like, lots of. He's just sort of erratically playing, but it's great. No one else could pull that off other than Neil Young.
Last song after Like a Hurricane is called Homegrown.
Oh, that's a good version.
Yeah,
I think it might be.
slower.
I think I might prefer it.
You
They
prefer it
sound-
over the homegrown version.
It's pretty. I like the slack sounds.
It's pretty slack. It's
It's very
slower.
slack.
It's very, but yes.
It's like almost. It's a little
Floppy
hokey.
drums.
And at the end, they
I think
just
it's
start
great.
singing like by themselves, like the Crazy Horse guys.
Oh yeah, they
And
do
you're
an
like,
acapella section.
homegrown, it's a good time.
Yeah, they're being very goofy on that.
Yeah, definitely a little hokey, but he pulls it off. I don't know. Support and slack to Mo Austin, the head of Reprise Records, right
As
there.
you see, this is the cover of Chrome Dreams
How do you know that?
because I've seen that cover.
Interesting. I think he's right. I think this was supposed to be a. I don't
Chrome
know.
Dreams is full of songs on this album.
Yeah, it is a bit of a hodgepodge, but it all worked out great.
It was a shelved album that was not released yet.
Well, we know about Homegrown. We talked about that already.
I
Remember?
know.
He's talking about Chrome Dreams. All right, shakies.
Let's talk about shakeys. I think I kind of wanted to rate this sort of on the high to average side, but I think it's quite good. What do you think, shakeys?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
9.
9 shakeys.
Wow.
It's a pretty good grade. And you said you have a few favorite songs. What were those favorites?
Will to Love, Like a Hurricane, and The Old Country Waltz.
Yeah, I love that one.
Which one?
Old Country Waltz is great.
Mm-hmm.
You Hold Back the Tears is almost like a little bit twangy of a country ballad, but I almost too twangy, but it works. And Emily Harris, great on this backing vocals. I'm gonna give it an 8. 8 shakies.
Yeah, backing vocals always sounds like a woman that's like.
Yes, Nicolette Larson and Linda Ronstadt. Wait a minute, so we're wrong. Emmylou Harris is not on this album.
You talk a lot about Emmylou Harris.
Yeah, she's not. Well, okay, no, incorrect. So she's on Star of Bethlehem
Yeah.
only, but on the first side it's all Nicolette Larson and Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah.
But then the second side's crazy.
Yeah, so it is a hodgepodge album. They said that in some of the reviewers from Rolling Stone at the time called it a hodgepodge, and they were kind of right. But it's great.
What's
I think it's great.
hodgepodge?
I give it 8 shakies, is
What's
what I say.
hodgepodge?
All right, so we got
Hodgepodge means like it's like a little
mixed
bit of
up.
this, a little bit of that. It's sort of all over the place.
So 9 shakies from Silas.
I say 8 shakies.
8 shakies. I'm going back and forth. I'm gonna say I was thinking 6.5, but maybe I'll give it a
What?
7.
Oh.
7 seems fair.
7 shakies.
You're not quite as into those country rock songs.
I'm very anti-Americana.
Oof, you don't like America.
Very anti-Americana.
It's actually a 2012 album with Crazy Horse called Americana.
Yeah,
Also
I
true.
don't like the twang, and I thought, was that Hold Back the Tears?
Too twangy?
Yeah,
Too twangy. for
didn't
you.
like that.
Did you
But
you like the Old Country Waltz?
I like that a lot. But I thought that Will to Love was so interesting. That
Yeah.
kind of put it, that boosted it up quite a bit. And I love Like a Hurricane. I thought it was great. And I really dug that janky version of Homegrown.
So you like side 2. You're a side 2.
Side 2 lady, but I also think it doesn't really feel like a proper record to me.
What's
It
your favorite
feels
song?
like they recorded half an album and then they're like, let's throw together some
let's take
stuff
all
from
What's
the
your
other
other
favorite
places.
song on side 1?
I'm not even sure. I was a little bit like, meh. I was thinking it was a 4 shakies on side 1. The second side raised my marks.
Got it quite up there.
Yeah.
My favorite song on side 1 was the Old Country Waltz.
Right, you talked about that,
I
yeah.
know.
Okay. Well, I think we gave our shakies. We got American Stars and Bars in the books.
Next up will be Comes a Time.
1978 Comes a Time. I think I think that was a pretty big album for him, actually.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.